The information provided on this show does not, and is not intended to, constitute legal advice. Instead, all information on this show is for general informational purposes only. The information provided is not a substitute for legal advice, and we recommend viewers consult an attorney for specific legal matters.
So you want to put up that big political sign in your condo window this November. Everybody's talking about the election.
We can really make a difference.
Your voice, your candidate. That's your right? But wait, your HOA says no signs.
This is ridiculous!
No political signs. No signs at all.
It is against the bylaws.
Sounds simple, but it's a contract you agreed to the day you bought your home. And guess what? They can enforce that contract unless they're letting others put up signs. They actually allow security alert signs, sales signs, even Christmas signs, but not yours. That may be selective enforcement, and that can change the game. Condo Craze HOAs. I'm attorney Eric Glazer. Karen is out today, but I hope everybody is having an excellent weekend. Okay, let's jump into it. It's political campaign season, and that means political signs are likely popping up everywhere, along with commercials. But your HOA rules might throw a wrench in that. Here's how it works. HOAs are private communities governed by contracts that homeowners agree to. And unlike government restrictions, these private contracts can limit political signs. Now, today we'll unpack how these rules work, especially when associations enforce them inconsistently. But here's the bottom line first. Your HOA and condo association can restrict political signs because you're bound by your community's contract. That's your declaration or covenants. Those are private rules, not constitutional law. So even though the First Amendment protects political speech from government interference, it doesn't stop your condo or HOA from banning signs if that's what the contract says. However, if your association allows some kind of signs, say for sale, security system, or holiday signs, but then tells you to remove your political sign, you might have a claim for selective enforcement. So even if the contract says no signs, if the association allows other prohibited signs but singles out yours, you may have grounds to challenge it. The key is proving the association enforces the rule unevenly. They might say no signs at all on the property, no political or commercial signs specifically, or they may have rules about the size and location of signs. The purpose is often to maintain aesthetics or reduce disputes, but the rules are enforced through contract law. Still, courts generally interpret these restrictive covenants narrowly, but will enforce them if the purpose is plain and obvious, and that's why it's critical to read your documents carefully. Many homeowners think the First Amendment protects their right to put up signs anywhere. It doesn't here. You gave up that right by buying into the condo or HOA, believe it or not. But the twist comes when the association inconsistently enforces the no rules sign. So let me give you a case that's kind of relevant. I need you to think about this. Keep the thoughts in your head. Take the 2003 Florida case of Prisco versus Forest Villas condominium. In that case, the association banned all pets except fish and birds. Okay, so all pets. Mrs. Prisco had a dog. The association sued her, but they were allowing cats in violation of the same rule. The court ruled that selective enforcement applied because cats and dogs were both prohibited animal types under the rule. If you say no pets, but you allow cats, but not dogs, that's discrimination. So similarly, if your association allows some signs, but singles out political signs, say letting holiday or sale signs stay, you may have grounds to argue that the enforcement is selective and unfair. This dynamic applies similarly in condominiums and HOAs. Both rely on declarations and bylaws that homeowners accept. The main difference is often in the management structure, but sign restrictions operate under the same contract principles in both. But not every case is clear. Sometimes board argues that some signs are not signs or fall outside the contract language. Also, challenging selective enforcement requires evidence, like documented exceptions or board minutes, so it's often complex and expensive. So before you rush to put up that political sign, you really need to do your homework. And that's where our next segment will dive deeper, how to navigate enforcement issues and protect yourself. But don't let any of this discourage you. Whatever your association says about signs, nothing stops you from voting. All right, has your association let some signs stay up, but force you to take down a political or election signs? What steps did you take? Robert, I'll tell you a story about where I live. This was election season, I want to say about 8 years ago. A neighbor of mine had political signs put up in the community. And lo and behold, there you have the president taking the signs out of the ground, caught on camera on the person's Ring doorbell or whatever it was. Cops came, apologized, right? I'll never do it again. The person puts the sign back. You know what happens a few hours later? The president's wife takes them out of the ground. Cops had to come again. So sometimes when people don't like your candidate, they will do everything they can to make sure that they pull those political signs out of the ground. Saw it in my own community, believe it or not.
And those signs are private property, right?
Yes, that's exactly why the president and his wife got in trouble, because they stepped on private property and pulled them out of the ground. Right. But hey, tell us what you think. Call in. Let us know what you think about all this or any issue that you might have in your mind. As you know, number is 717-GLAZER-8. Again, 717-GLAZER-8, or drop us a question or comment in the chat box on YouTube. We'll be back right after this.
Even the best golfers struggle when nobody's managing the course.
I need the driver, not the putter. This 5 right.
Condo construction projects can feel exactly the same. Engineers focus on repairs. Contractors focus on installation and construction. But who's helping coordinate the entire project and protect the board? HCMC helps condo and HOA boards bring structural oversight and accountability to complex construction projects. HCMC, helping boards stay on course.
There are very large management companies and there are very small management companies. And I think Affinity sits somewhere in the middle of that, where they are big enough to provide you with all of the back of the house services, the accounting, the infrastructure, the support systems, but small enough to be high touch.
We believe at Affinity that we do the 9 to 5 so that you don't have to do that.
All right, welcome back to Condo Craze and HOAs. Glad to be back after being sick last week, but we're back all is well. Can't wait to answer your calls. And a matter of fact, let's go to the first one, Rob.
All right, let's go to Stephen in Boca Raton.
Hey, Steve, how are you? How are you, Steve? You there? Nope, I don't hear a thing, Rob.
Yes, I am. How are you doing?
Oh, there you go. Okay, how are you, Steve?
I'm good, thanks.
How can we help?
So I've got a question for you, not related to signs, but related to political campaigning.
Sure.
If somebody's going in the community soliciting for a candidate and the streets are public in the HOA and your driveways and sidewalks are also private, can the association prevent somebody from soliciting for a candidate?
That's an
There isn't
interesting
no
question.
soliciting sign.
Yeah, interesting question. So I live in an HOA, and my streets are public, and I will tell you that I have political candidates come through all the time, and I do think it would be against the law for the association to say that you can't walk in the streets and walk up to somebody's house and knock on their doors and try to solicit for your candidate. If the streets were private streets dedicated to the association, that's one thing, but considering they're public streets, I think an association is a problem. Can't stop it. I certainly wouldn't throw out anybody.
Yeah, the previous president we had here would throw them out, saying it's against the law, get out, and I'll call the police.
Well,
and I just wanted to see what the reality was, because I don't believe he was correct in that.
I agree with you 100%. These are public streets. They're not dedicated to the association. Your candidates and their assistants can walk through the streets, distribute literature. Not a thing could be done about it by the association. All right, good call, Rob. Steve. You're 100% right.
Real quick, can I follow up?
Yeah.
If somebody does solicit in the community and a resident tries to throw them out and threaten to call the police, what should the response of the person doing the campaigning should be?
Listen, someone can say, don't knock on my door again. I don't want you touching my house. I can understand that. You know, I think they have a right to knock on the community, but if someone says, get off my property, right? I think they have a right to say, get off my property if their house isn't a zero lot line house, right? So I think they have the right to do that. So, but they can scream and yell all they want that they're going to call the police. The police aren't going to do anything to a political candidate that's walking on public streets. So, you know, the yelling doesn't mean a thing.
Thanks very much.
Okay, thanks, Steve.
Thank you.
Good call.
Bye.
All right, keep them coming, Rob.
Over to David in St. Pete.
David in St. Pete, good morning.
Good morning. Y'all do such a great job.
Thank
I've
you so
really
much.
got a question from the last, speared from the last show, so to speak. We have had our sewer pipes scoped, and it shows we do need repairs, and the cost is more than what many of the members can afford, and they're demanding that we put it off for a couple of years to build up the funds. Is the board still responsible in the interim, or can they take away our liability in that regard?
Okay, so do the repairs need to be made now? Did an expert come in and say, hey, these pipes are bad, they need to be replaced or repaired now?
Yes, we had all 62 stacks scoped and videoed and all that, and it shows that they're running. They are, you know, and some of them have cracks, some of them have holes, but it does need to be cleaned and repiped.
Okay, so that's the end of it. There's where your obligation kicks in. You have a mandatory obligation to make the repair now, not wait for it. It's irrelevant that people are coming over to you and saying, you know what, let's try to save up for it. Sorry, it doesn't work that way. You need to make the repair immediately if the pipes are failing, because let me tell you something, If they crack, as you heard on the show 2 weeks ago, and they start, infecting the soil, things can get a lot worse for you. So, go ahead.
The caveat to that is that many of them, probably a good third, say we're just not going to pay it, and we don't have the funds in our operating account to actually finish paying for it.
Okay, so there's two ways to go. Two ways to go. Number one, you're either going to pass a special assessment, right? That's going to pay it off. Let's say the project is going to take 3 months. So, and I'm just giving you numbers, and it's going to cost $6,000 per unit. So you can say to everybody, you have a special assessment of $2,000 for 3 months in a row. Or maybe you can borrow the money from a bank, and the bank may allow you to pay it back over 6 or 7 years or even more. But the bottom line is your obligation as a board right now, without waiting, without hesitation, is to fix it right now. End of story.
Gotcha.
Okay?
Thank you. Appreciate
it. You got it. Okay, thank you. 2 good calls to start the day. Keep them coming, Rob.
All right, next caller is Brad from Estero, Florida.
Hey, Brad.
Hi, Eric. I would maintain that HOAs really cannot enforce rules against political signs. Under the current statutes, you'd have to notice them. You'd have to have a board meeting where they would fine them, and then you have to have a hearing. All they have to do is take the signs out the night before the hearing, put them back in the day after the hearing.
Right. You
can't enforce it.
You found a loophole, right? That's exactly what we've been talking about with the statute, that they fine you, they set you down for the fining committee hearing, and you pull the signs out the day before the hearing, and the fining committee technically loses jurisdiction, right? But what they might be able to do, if there's fear that you're going to put it back again, they might be able to get injunctive relief saying, hey, that we're afraid that the people are going to put it back, so we want an injunction to prevent them from doing it again. So there's something in the law called capable of repetition yet evading review. And sometimes on those grounds, you're able to get an injunction. So it's possible that they can do it, but I think you're right. I think it would be difficult for an HOA to actually enforce it once they pull out the sign from the ground. But just remember something. Just because the association has the right to issue a fine against you, it doesn't mean they have to issue a fine against you. In other words, they can go right to court or right to mediation to try to prevent you from installing that sign or to force you to remove that sign. They don't have to start out in the fining process, just to let you know. That's just one remedy that they have. If they don't want to use fines at all, they don't have to. They might be able to go right to court or mediation. So keep that in mind before you stick that sign in the ground.
Yeah. Eric, just to let you know, I'm a community association manager over here on the West Coast.
Yes.
And I run into this kind of stuff all the time. And it just makes sense. If people want to put political signs out, let them do it. It's going to last for a couple of months, and then they'll be gone.
I agree. I'm 1,000% in favor of that with you. You know what? It's even good for children to see, right? Let them learn about how civics work in their community, in their country, in their state, right? I think it's good all around, right? And as long as there's no screaming, as long as there's no yelling, right, about what we sometimes do in politics now, and people are only putting signs in the ground, what's the big deal, right? I think it's a great idea to allow it to happen, and I'm with you on that.
Okay. Thank you, Eric.
Thank you so much for the call. Love Estero. They got the greatest outlets out there, right? Great mall. All right, who else we got?
Over to Maria in Broward County.
Hey, Maria.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
I live in a HOA community in Broward County. So when a special assessment is approved by the board, whether it's for replacing fences or replacing roofs, have they the authority to assess or collect is the word, from the unit owner if the unit owner does not pay the special assessment? Or is there some kind of obstacle that they cannot collect from a special assessment once it's approved?
They absolutely can collect on a special assessment. Condos have the right to pass special assessments. HOAs have the right to pass special assessments. And it gets ugly if the owner doesn't pay that special assessment. And it works the same way for condos and HOAs. First thing that's going to happen is they're going to get what's called a notice of late assessment. And that's the nice letter. They get one nice letter and it says, here's what you owe. It includes the special assessment and it does not include attorney's fees. And you have to pay this within 30 days. If you don't pay this, we can move on to the lien stage. Let's say 30 days goes by, right? And they don't pay. The next letter they get is, okay, we warned you. So if you don't pay that special assessment within 45 days, we're going to lien your property. Let's say they don't pay, 45 days goes by. Now the next letter they get is, see, we weren't joking. We did lien your property. Here it is. And in 45 days, if you don't pay, we're going to file a foreclosure against you. And if 45 days goes by and the person doesn't pay, now a foreclosure action lawsuit can be filed against that owner. And technically they can now lose their home. And let me tell you what the difference is. When you get that first letter, the only thing they're asking you for is that special assessment. By the time you get that foreclosure lawsuit, it's so much more money. Thousands and thousands of dollars more has now accrued in attorney's fees, court costs, late fees, interests. So I'm telling you, when you get that NOLA letter, notice of late assessment, you better sit up and take it real seriously and contact your association and tell them how you're going to pay, because if not, it's going to cost you so much more. Okay? Hope that answers your question.
Thank you, Eric.
Sure thing.
May I ask a second question?
Sure, go ahead. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. Same HOA in Broward County, our requirement is to have 5 board members. We only have 4. And after half of the year, the 3 board members want to have 1 board member leave, but the board member does not want to leave. And they're not notifying this to the entire community. I was just notified, let's say, under the table. So is it that they cannot get rid of this board member? I don't know the facts though, because one board member is not, they don't have enough votes, or is it that they just cannot get rid of the board member if the board member does not want to leave the board?
So the only way that you can get rid of a board member, right, for condos or for HOAs is by the recall process. And the recall process means that you get 50% plus 1 of all the owners. Basically, I'm summarizing it, but basically to sign what's called recall ballots. It's like a petition saying we want this person removed from the board. It gets served on the board. I use process server when I do it, so it could get served on the board like a lawsuit. And then the board has to decide whether or not it was done right. Right now, it's very, very difficult to fight a recall action. So as long as they get the numbers, that person will probably be removed from the board. But the board members can't remove other board members. Only a majority of the unit owners can remove a board member. Okay?
I see. Thank you for explaining.
You got it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay. What else we got, Rob?
I'm going to take a question from the chat.
Sure thing.
Someone asks, what about those magnet signs on vehicles parked at night?
Oh, that's interesting. Is that a sign? Could be a sign, right? Keep making arguments that they're allowing some signs and not others. And I think the more arguments you could make like that, then it's going to be pretty difficult for that association to prevent your political sign, right? If it says no signs in your documents, but it's allowing some signs, that means they're now allowing all signs. And that's why I gave that dog and cat case, right? Because the document said no pets, but they allowed cats. That means they allowed some pets. Well, now that means they allowed all pets. Same argument can be made with the signs, right? So the more types of signs they allow, the better your chances are going to be that your political sign is going to be allowed. Okay?
Good one. And
All
then
right.
there's another question. I wonder if he's a board member. He says, for sale and for rent signs are prohibited by our board, and they don't enforce this. Some signs are on owner property, some are on common grounds. Can I
Right.
remove the ones on common grounds?
I think the board can remove ones that are on common ground. I don't think I have a problem with that, but I certainly wouldn't remove them from someone's personal property. I don't have a problem if a board member said, nope, no signs are allowed on common areas. We're taking them out. The question is, what do you do with those signs? If you know whose they are, right? I wouldn't steal them. I wouldn't throw them in the garbage. I'd bring it to the person whose signs they are and say, you can't put them on the common elements. And if these people are normal, I think they would understand that. But the truth is, it's in every HOA. When you have, a showing of a home, there's signs put all over the place directing the people to the home that's for sale. Sometimes someone wrote in here that they do it with balloons. I don't know, is balloons a sign? Certainly could be argued that it's a sign that directs people to the correct home, right? So again, the more types of things they allow, the more chance you're going to have of arguing, well, now you allow my political sign.
All right, let's go to Boynton Beach. Ernie, I think.
Hey, Ernie.
How you doing, Eric? It's Arnie speaking. I live in an HOA in Boynton Beach, whereby the rules are no signs on houses or on property or anything like that. Now, if a person has a car with a flag sticking up from the top of his car, let's say 3 feet by 5 feet, political sign that he drives around with or parks in his driveway, is that something that the HOA could enforce as no signs allowed within within the HOA?
Well, now we got to really look at what the Declaration of Covenants or Declaration of Condominium says, right? Does it say no signs in the windows and no signs on the lawn? Well, if it only says that, you're not breaking the covenants by putting a sign on your car, are you? Right? The documents need to be strictly construed. So doing it on your car may be perfectly allowed, but putting it on the common elements or putting it on your home may not be. We really need to take a look to see what the Declaration of Covenants or Condominium actually says. And does it say all signs anywhere in the community? Okay, then putting it on your car may be problematic for you. But if it doesn't prohibit you from putting it on your car, but only prohibits you from putting it on the common elements or in your yard or window, I think you're good by putting it on your car.
Interesting.
Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. We had a case that we were following. There's a Jewish holiday called Sukkot, right? And during the holiday of Sukkot, you put up what's called a sukkah. It's a little house with a wooden thatched roof, let's say, and Jewish people sit in it during the holidays. So there was condominium and HOA documents that said you cannot install this type of structure, like no structure shall be allowed on your lawns or anywhere on your property, right? Well, what did one person do? This one person bought a really big, I don't know the numbers, like Ford F-150 trucks, giant truck like that, put a sukkah on the flatbed of the truck that the family would then sit in. Was he violating the rules? Absolutely not. Why? Because he wasn't putting it on the grass. He wasn't putting it on his lawn. He wasn't putting it, strictly on the common element grass. He put it on his own truck. So he was fine. So it reminded me of this call where the owner said, well, what about if I put my political sign on my truck? Well, guess what? You may be perfectly allowed to do that. Let's take one more before we go to the break.
Over to Sarasota.
Good morning, Sarasota.
Thank you for taking my call, Eric.
You are.
Carlton here. Please pass on to Karen. We miss her. We love the color she brings to the show.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Speaking of color, on the signage, it's clear in our documents that no signage of any type that can be seen from anywhere on the common elements. That pretty much encapsulates it. But what about decorative items such as holiday festivity? We have one unit owner, and she goes out. She has the inflatable 10-foot Easter bunny, the Santa, the leprechaun. So the board is up in the airs about that and says you must stop that.
Right.
But I don't see in our documents to where it actually entails that, and they allow every Christmas for anybody to do outdoor decorative things on
I
the common
agree.
area.
So let's say it says no signs, right? But the board is certainly not going to ask somebody to take down a big sign that says Merry Christmas. They're certainly not going to ask somebody to take down a sign that says Happy Halloween, right? That would be terrible, right? That would be un-American to do that, right? So they're not going to do that. But let me tell you something. Now that you allowed that Merry Christmas sign, I could certainly make the argument that you now allow political signs. No problem. I can certainly make that argument. You know what? I think I'm going to win. And I think you now are going to allow me to put my political sign up, like it or not. You allow Merry Christmas. You allow Happy Halloween. You now allow vote for Joe Smith. That's how I see it.
All right. Thank you, Barrister.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thanks for the kind words about Karen. And let's do this. Let's take our bottom of the hour break. Keep the great calls coming in this morning. 717-GLAZER-8. Again, 717-GLAZER-8. Or drop us a question or comment in the chat box on YouTube. Back right after this.
In South Florida, the transition from bright sunshine to heavy rain and hurricanes can take a toll on your property's exterior and structural integrity. Cracked stucco, spalled concrete, they're more than eyesores. They can signal deeper issues. Now, with new Florida laws involving structural integrity requirements, we want to help you meet your milestone inspections and maintain the durability and beauty of your building. Since 2004, PD has been the trusted expert in structural concrete restoration, painting, and waterproofing for condominiums and commercial properties. Visit pd-concrete.com or call us today.
All over the world, people have plumbing problems. These problems can be expensive and destructive to fix. Have you ever wondered if there was a way to take care of your plumbing problems without destruction and an outrageous price tag? Welcome to Pipelining Technologies, Inc., where we specialize in fixing your problems without demolition and minimum cutting by means of pipelining. Pipelining is the ability to take a pipe damaged by root intrusion or long-term deterioration and make it new. By means of inserting an epoxy-saturated liner into the pipe and allowing it to harden or cure, leaving behind a brand new pipe.
That sounds great. How can I get pipelining in my home, commercial building, or condominium?
Simply fill out our online contact form and a pipelining representative will get in touch with you in a timely fashion, or call us directly at 561-853-5463.
All right, welcome back to Condo Craze and HOAs. We really started the morning with a lot of great calls talking about putting political signs up in your front yard or in your windows. As you know, we're smack dab in the middle of election season. It's only going to get worse and worse and worse on the TV with commercials the closer we get to November. But what about what can you do in your condo or HOA? Lots of great calls, lots of great questions about it this morning. How about we go to some of the questions in the chat? What about those business magnetic signs on a vehicle parked each night in the driveway? So again, what does your document say? Does the document say that can be no signs in the community? You can't put no signs up anywhere? Or does it say you can't put no signs in your condo window or on your front lawn of your HOA? You may not be violating the rule, right? If you put that magnetic sign on your car. So again, you got to check the rules carefully. Another interesting question. Are there any studies regarding the percentage of condo board members who sell or move after their service on the board? That's funny. Yeah, the answer is 100%. No, I honestly don't know. I have no idea if there's any studies about that. I'd certainly be interested to find out about it as well. All right, how about we take another phone call?
Over to Tony.
How are you, Tony?
Troy, this is Troy. Thank you for giving us your time.
Thank you. How can we help?
I have like 3 different problems in my community right now. The selective enforcement, property line dispute, But another thing is the attorney that is representing one of the people I'm suing for the property line is also representing another one going after the board. And they're defending the board on my case, but prosecuting on the other case. That's a conflict of interest. When my attorney doesn't want to bring up the question, he doesn't want to bring it to the judge. And how do I file a, what do you call it?
Yeah, well,
conflict of interest.
Well, I'm not going to tell you to do that. The only thing I can tell you on this show is, hey, you have to listen to your lawyer. If your lawyer doesn't think it's the right thing to do, then I'm not going to tell you that he's wrong. I have not seen your case. I got no idea what it's about. So it would certainly be rude and not smart on my part to say that your attorney is doing anything wrong. Okay?
No, we have a very rogue inner circle board, and they're going after individuals and just persecute them. They're slandering their names and telling bad stories about them. And I understand that you have to get a 51% vote to get them out. But
right.
Everybody's afraid of these people. How do you get these people not to be afraid of them?
Again,
because as soon as they talk.
Yeah, that's tough. And that's the case a lot of times. And it's certainly the case in older communities. When I mean that with older people, who get, I hate saying this, but sometimes they often get more timid as they get older and they just don't want to fight as much. And those are the ones, unfortunately, I see it all the time, those are the ones that unfortunately get taken advantage of the most. So it's difficult to get people motivated to fight back. And sometimes their attitude is, well, as long as my assessments are staying the same, who cares, right? The only way to get people sometimes riled up is when their assessments go up. All of a sudden, after not seeing people at a meeting for years or decades, once you have a special assessment or something, that gets people to the meeting. But if people are not going to show up and people are not going to get interested, you're right. It's going to be very difficult to get that 50% plus one vote. And sometimes there's just no way to do it.
500% over budget on our attorney fees. One because of me, and one because they're trying to prosecute another one for a family feud for whatever.
Yeah.
Is there a way I can call you and talk to you direct?
Yeah,
and
sure.
show you my cases?
Yeah, sure. You'd like, you can make an appointment. 954-983-1112 is our firm's number. 954-983-1112. And we hope to hear from you.
And I put it on the
screen.
Thank
you very much.
Got it. Thank you so much, Robert. Thank you. Okay, who's next, Rob?
Let's see. We go. Sorry, I just had a caller drop. Rick, I think I hit drop on you. If you want to give a call back, we'll take your call.
Anybody else?
Yeah. Over to Maria.
Okay. Hey, Maria.
I got Rick. Never mind.
Okay, Rick.
Maria. We have Maria. Sorry about the confusion. Hopefully I got her name right.
Who do we got? Rick, Maria, whoever. Anybody
Maria.
answers, let's go.
All right. Let's go to the next caller. Maria, I'm going to put you on mute. All right. Over to Rick.
Rick. How are you, Rick?
If you hear a beep.
All right. Well, why don't I take a, I'll take a.
You are connected as the host.
Well,
welcome, host. You are now in the host room and can manage your callers from the call-in studio web interface.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Audio recording is on. Dual channel.
Okay, I think now if I go to Maria, it'll work. Sorry about that.
All right, hey, Maria.
Hi, can you hear me now?
Yeah, there we go. How are you, Maria?
Fine, thanks. Okay, again, back to the HOA in Broward County. So when the board has an organizational meeting right after the elections, do they must inform that to the unit owners or at least provide minutes
Absolutely.
of that organization?
So let's tell everybody what an organizational meeting is first. So as we know, there's an election for the people who to serve on the board of directors, okay? You vote in your community for who's going to be the directors. You don't vote who's going to be president, secretary, vice president, treasurer. That's not what you vote for. You vote for directors. Then when the directors get on the board of directors, the directors themselves vote who's going to be president, vice president, secretary, treasurer, etc. And they do that at what's called the organizational meeting. And that's their first board meeting. So that first board meeting needs to be noticed just like every other meeting. Yes, you're 100% right, Maria. That has to be noticed as a board meeting at least 48 hours in advance. The unit owners have a right to attend. And that vote by the board cannot be done in some back room somewhere, right? It's got to be done in front of everybody. Now, the board members can vote by secret ballot, but they can't walk away and do it in some back room like it used to be. I lost the audio.
So that would be they will be breaking the law, the Sunshine Law?
That's
if
correct.
They don't do that?
Yes, it's not considered the Sunshine Law, but they would be violating Florida Statute 718 if they didn't notice the organizational meeting and if they went in some back room to take the vote. That's got to be done in front of everybody.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Hey, Rob, I'm getting questions here in the comment box. Where can we buy a Condo Craze coffee mug? We got to be able to do this. We got to be able to sell this. I don't want to make money on it. I certainly don't want to do that, but people do like it. So maybe we'll figure out a way to get it to people just at our cost. That would be a lot of fun, right?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay, Rob's the man that can take care of all this, right? He's the brains of the show, believe me. So, like you don't have enough to do. If we can figure out, I guess we'll put it on the Condo Craze and HOA's website.
Yeah.
Maybe they can get it direct from the manufacturer or something like that, so it doesn't involve Eric putting it in a box and shipping it out. Because I don't got time for that.
You don't want to pack mugs?
Come
on.
Exactly. So we can figure it out for everybody, right?
Do it for your
We got to
fans.
make T-shirts. We got to do the whole deal, right?
Definitely.
People want it, and I'm very, very flattered by that request to have a Condo Craze mug. So yeah, that's the least we can do. We give them access to it, right? Okay. Who else we got?
Let's go to Rick in Palm Beach.
Hey, Rick.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good morning. Thank God, doing all right.
How can we help?
Okay, I had sent into my HOA a 720 request, and some of the things they gave me, and there are a few things that they denied on the basis of attorney-client privilege.
Okay.
And none of the things that they denied on that basis are covered under the 720 exceptions. And one in particular involves the board asked our attorneys to draft proposed changes to our documents. And to me, that's going to be sent out to the community anyway, and I don't see how that would be covered under attorney-client privilege.
I can't see that either because it's got to be prepared at the attorney's express direction, which reflects a mental impression, conclusion, litigation strategy, or legal theory of the attorney or the association, and which was prepared exclusively for civil or criminal litigation, or for adversarial administrative proceedings, or which was prepared in anticipation of such litigation or proceedings. So when it has to do with asking an attorney to draft some amendments to the governing documents, that has nothing to do with litigation or administrative proceedings. That's just asking your attorney to prepare some amendments. So any discussion by and between the attorney and the association regarding these amendments, that is absolutely not privileged material, and you are able to see it.
Okay, so our next step would be writing the association a follow-up letter to the our original 720 request.
Yeah, whoever responded to you that they're not giving you that information, those letters, you should write back and say, I'm sorry, but 720 specifically says that it's only attorney-client privileged information if it involves administrative proceedings or litigation. And clearly that's not what you're asking for. And by the way, there's even an exception when it's for litigation or for administrative proceedings. When that matter is closed, you're even allowed to see those communications. So believe me, this is no hard and fast rule that you can see that you can't see attorney-client privilege communications. There's no doubt that you can see these. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Wish you
Thanks,
luck.
Sid. Put me down for a coffee mug.
Yeah, you got it. All right. Take care. Hey, Rob, let's do this.
Okay.
Let's take our final break of the hour. Keep the calls coming in. 717 Glazer 8. Please don't wait till the last minute and get shut out. Happens every single week. Again, 717 Glazer 8. Or drop us a question or comment in the chat box. Back right after this.
When you need a plumber you can trust, you want to feel safe, comfortable, and never awkward. At Better Call Steve, we fix leaks, not exposed cheeks. No crack plumbing, just solid professional work. From kitchens to bathrooms, our team shows up clean, respectful, and gets it done right the first time. So if you've got a leak, a clog, or a drain that needs attention, call Steve today for a free drain inspection. Better Call Steve, 954-50-STEVE.
We are DMI Paving and Seal Coating, Florida's parking lot experts. We specialize in asphalt paving and repair, including pothole repair, seal coating using JC7 or polytar, concrete curbs, ramps, and walkways, and striping and pavement marking, as well as ADA compliance. We service commercial properties, including homeowners associations, apartment communities, shopping malls, warehouses, stadiums and arenas, and more. Experience is worth more than anything in an industry like ours, and our staff has decades of it. We have specialized equipment for any job, regardless of size, saving you time and money. DMI has a reputable history. We have been in business since 1956. We serve the state of Florida from 6 locations. Let us bid on your next parking lot project. Visit us online at dmipavingandsealcoating.com.
All right, welcome back to Condo Craze and HOAs, our last segment. Robert and I are just putting our heads together. We really want to give you guys the opportunity to get mugs and t-shirts and all that stuff. Not to make $1 on it. That's not what I want to do. I just want you guys to have the ability to get it. So we'll see what we can do. All right, keep the calls coming, Rob.
Over to Mike. He's got a comment about selective enforcement.
How are you, Mike?
Hey, Eric, how you doing?
Okay, how can we help?
Question. Okay, so vehicle got towed because they was in the fire lane, right? But we have vehicles that are actually parked on the premises that has expired license plates, and they will not tow them off the property. Isn't that a selective enforcement?
I don't know what your documents say. Now, there's clearly, if you park in the fire lane, I don't have a problem with a car being towed. Now, it happens all the time that sometimes registration stickers are old, but you have to look at what your governing documents say. Do your governing documents say that if a car has expired registration stickers, the vehicle can be towed? I don't know. Does it say that? Okay.
Yes,
if it says that, and again, I'm not quite sure, in all candor, if this would be selective enforcement. I'll tell you why. Parking in a fire lane might be very dangerous to the health, welfare, and safety of the people that live there. Maybe a fire truck can't get through. So I think that's something different than simply not towing somebody because their tag expired on their license plate. So I can't take the position on that one that it's selective enforcement, because if someone's vehicle doesn't get towed because their tag expired, so what? But if someone's vehicle doesn't get towed because it's in a fire lane, now we're talking about lives maybe at stake. So I understand what you're saying, but I'm not happy calling that selective enforcement in that situation.
Well, I understand that, but here's another one for you real quick. they towed motorcycles for expired license plates, but they will not tow certain vehicles.
Okay, now that's
with
a different
expired license
story.
plates.
There you go. That
Yes,
certainly may
yes.
be selective enforcement, right? That you're singling out
Right.
motorcycles over vehicles, but they both have expired tags. Now, yes, that might
Correct.
be selective enforcement. There I'll go with you, my friend. Okay?
Okay, so we write the board and let them know that this is selective enforcement.
Absolutely. And if they don't do both, that you're going to take action against them.
Mediation,
You might have to
litigation,
go to
right?
mediation first. That's correct. Okay.
Thank you, Eric.
Okay. Thank you so
Appreciate
much.
your help.
Great call. Thank you.
I'll take a large in that T-shirt too.
Robert, you got a lot of people wanting on you. Forget about it. You got a lot of work to do.
Thank you, sir. You have a good
You
evening.
be well. Take
All
care.
right. All right.
To the next?
Yes, please.
Let's go to Patty in Pepper Pines.
Patty, how are you?
Yeah, hi, good morning, everybody. I'm in a condominium, and my question is regarding NOLA letters. If you are past due several months on regular payments, and you've got a special, or you have a special assessment of, say, $1,000, if you only make a partial payment, or you make one payment out of the multiple payments that you're past due, I'm being told by my property managers, past and current, that the moment somebody makes just one payment, it resets the whole thing, and you can't proceed anymore
Absolutely
after the 30
not.
days.
Absolutely
Is that
not.
true?
No chance. Absolutely not.
Okay.
So let's say somebody owed $3,500. They send in $10
Yeah.
and they owe $3,490. And you're being told that you have to start the process again with a new notice of late assessment?
Yeah, after 30 days.
Yeah, well, at 100% is not the case. Okay?
So they
100%.
can proceed and send it to legal?
Of course.
Send it to legal at that point?
Of
The payment's
course.
not full.
No question about it. Okay?
I got it.
Absolutely.
Thank
No
you
two
so
ways
much.
about
Have
it.
a great
Okay?
day.
Thank you. Yeah, for those of
Wonderful.
you who
Thank
don't
you.
know what NOLA is, you heard the word NOLA a few times now on the show. NOLA is just an acronym for Notice of Late Assessment. And that's that first letter that has to go out now for both condos and HOAs. It's a letter that's sent out that says you owe this and you have one shot to pay it without incurring any attorney's fees whatsoever. And you have 30 days to pay. After 30 days, things are going to get bad. Okay? So that's NOLA, Notice of Late Assessments. Okay. Keep them coming, Rob.
There's a good comment here that says, our condo association does not allow signs. An owner taped a paper sign to their vehicle window that had the F word and a political candidate in it. Management said it was freedom of speech. Is it?
No.
So that's a good question. So number one, again, we got to look to see what the documents say. Do the documents say no fines anywhere in community? Or does it say no signs on your property? Or does it say no signs on the grass? What does it say? A sign on the car in and of itself might be allowed. But now we get to the F word, right? It might be considered a nuisance, right? You got to look, if you have a nuisance clause in your governing documents, you probably do. And an arbitrator may in fact rule that using profanity, using the F word, especially if there's children living in the community, might be considered a nuisance in the community, and therefore the association may be able to get an injunction against that type of conduct. Don't know, I'm not going to tell you I'm familiar with cases in that regard, but that's how I'm looking at it. I know there's cases that where people have shown up to board meetings and have constantly used profanity time and time again and screamed profanity in the hallways and when had fights and used profanity. Arbitrators have in fact ruled that that violates the nuisance clause of the condominium documents. So maybe here the association would be able to argue that using profanity is considered a nuisance, therefore we're entitled to injunctive relief. Okay, that might be the only way to go. Okay, all right. Keep them coming.
We don't have any calls in the queue yet.
Okay.
But, what do you think about the latest news that we're seeing in condo and HOA
It's unbelievable what you're seeing again. This time we have a management company in Hialeah that ripped off, I think I want to say at least 5 associations to the tune of $5.8 million. And what's interesting is the state attorney's office, I watched a speech about it, and the state attorney's office said that they used the fact that the management company also spoke Spanish, and they used it to their advantage, and they made the associations feel warm and fuzzy, that they do speak the same language and they come from the same areas and things like that. And of course, what happened, the community got lazy, or the communities got lazy, and trusted their management company and did not look as to what was going on. And what do you know? $5.8 million was stolen from the communities. And this happens, unfortunately, we're seeing it happen more and more, Rob. And you can trust your management company, you know, all the way. But one of our presidents, was it Reagan maybe, that said trust but verify?
Trust but verify.
Right? When it came to the Russians, maybe.
Yep.
Trust but verify. Same thing with your management company. That's not to say I'm saying that management companies are like the Russians. I'm not saying that, so management companies, calm down. But bottom line is, whoever has access to your money, you want to trust them, great, but you have to verify. If you're a treasurer on the board, or the board itself, you know, you have to look at your bank statements that come in each month. Not even the statements themselves. As we know, everybody now has access, online access, right, to your accounts. So somebody on the board has to sit back, somebody has to look and say, okay, I'll make sure that these are the checks that we cut, these are the withdrawals from our account, and wait a minute, what's this crazy withdrawal here for $15,000? Where did it go to? What is it for? You know, catch it early, because if you don't catch it early, wow, you're going to have a lot of money missing from your account. Now,
maybe review the audit, the annual audit too, right?
Review the audit, of course. But there's another thing that's very important. Associations are now required to have mandatory insurance that equals the amount of money that they're supposed to have in their accounts at one time, the maximum amount that they're supposed to have in their accounts at one time. And especially now when it comes to condos and HOAs, because of the mandatory reserves, the mandatory inspections, you're going to have mandatory repairs, and the tremendous amount of special assessments. They can have 7 or 8 figures in their accounts at any one time. And when that happens, you know, the temptation is there for management companies, the temptation is there for board members to dip their hands in it and perhaps think that they're not going to get caught. So make sure that you have the proper insurance. If you're a condo and you haven't checked the amount of your insurance policies in years, you're making a big mistake, because it's possible that you used to be insured for, let's say, $1 million of money in your account, right? Now you might have $10 million in your account because of mandatory repairs and special assessments and reserves and stuff. And it's possible that you didn't tell your agent to change your insurance coverage. So please, if you learn nothing else today, you got to make sure you call your insurance agent tomorrow and say, hey, how much are we insured for? Got to find out what's the maximum amount of money that we probably have in the account. And you better make sure you're telling your insurance agent, okay, we need to be insured for that amount of money, because if a board member or a manager walks off with that money, it's recoverable from your insurance, but only if you're insured, only if you told them what the amount of insurance that you need. So it is vital that you have a really good talk with your insurance agent, okay?
Yeah, there was 6 people arrested.
6 people in one shot.
They were supposed to use this money towards replacing roofs.
Sure.
And stuff, but
and now they don't have it.
They lost it all.
Yeah, and I went back yesterday, and because of that, what made the papers again, of course, the hammocks case. The hammocks has really become legendary. You know, I always say I represented the hammocks for years, Suddenly, I mean, certainly knew everybody that got arrested. Suddenly we were fired, right? And what do you know? A couple of years later, all this crap goes down and the whole board gets arrested. And because of the hammocks, there has been dramatic changes in condo law in terms of getting people arrested for the crimes that they commit. So, you know, it was a learning experience, let me tell you that. Yeah. And hammocks got some of the money back. They had a great job by the receiver that was appointed there. So, you know, they got some of it back, not all of it back, but just another reason why you need to be very, very diligent about making sure that you're reviewing your financial records. Don't leave it up to somebody else. Okay? All right. And on that note, everybody, great show today. I really enjoyed it. If you need legal help off the air, please make sure to give Glazer and Sachs a call, 954-983-1112. Again, 954-983-1112. And we will see you again and speak to you again next Sunday at 11 a.m. on Condo Craze and HOAs. Everybody have a wonderful, safe, and healthy week with your families. Be well, everybody.
Same truth, same time, no smoke, no spin. See you next Sunday at 11 a.m. You've been watching Condo Craze and HOAs. Lights coming down, another hour gone. Hard truths, lines clearly drawn. Process matters, rules come first. Ignore them once, and things get worse. Read the rules, show up in form. When mistakes happen, don't take it personal. That's how lawsuits fade instead of grow. That's how communities stay in control. We take the calls, we hear it all. Helping Floridians stand tall. Condos, HOs, every voice has a place. When you face it head on, chaos loses the race. Same truth, same time, no smoke, no spin. See you next Sunday at 11 a.m. You've been watching Condo Craze and HOA.